Yes, welcome everyone. You're here. We are live. Is of course special episode 350, if you can believe it. Almost 8 years.
It did it.
Oh, not getting the beach, not getting my audio. In any case, almost 8 years to the day when we started the High Noon Hemp Show. We are now at episode 350. Of course, Beach will be back momentarily as your favorite hemp infotainment show. If you're on Facebook, we're on the Hemptations Beach Facebook page. If you're on YouTube, we're on the Jedi Hemp YouTube channel. And if you're on X or Twitter, make sure you're following at Hemptations. Of course, so you find all the information as we return here with Beach. Back to big episode number 350. I'm, of course, Stoner Jesus. I do various things on the interwebs. You can search out if you want to. He is Beach. He loves hemp. He is celebrating episode 350, and he's high above the Hemptations and the Flower Factory in Northside Beach. How are things this week in the world of Hemptations?
They're good. It is true. I am high above the Hemptations and the Flower Factory in Northside. It is episode 350 of the High Noon Hemp Show. You know what I really need to do here is I need a little shine, a little light. Just shine a little light, maybe. You know, give you a little something better to look at. I think my face in the shade is probably a better look. But anyway, hi everybody. It's true. Thanks, Stoner. And I want to remind everybody, and I don't do this enough, go out there and if you're into that marijuana stuff, go out there and find Stoner Jesus. I believe stonerjesus.net. Is that still?
No, we don't do that anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a Stoner Jesus Sith Kitten Productions, SJSK 420, pretty much everywhere. Patreon, Twitter, Twitch. Just check out SJSK 420. You'll find us.
There you go. SGK.
We're live all the time. Thank you, Beach.
420. There you go. Yeah. I don't give him enough props for sitting over there and pushing the buttons for me, and he does a lot for that part of the industry, including a lot of good jokes.
Indeed, I try.
Remember, folks, the FDA has not evaluated this show for safety or efficacy. Let's go ahead and do our pledge. I pledge allegiance to the hemp fields of America and to the soil in which it is planted. One seed under the sun with responsibility, sustainability, and thrivability for all. Well, I got to tell you, folks, I am outraged at the CBD gummy scammers for instantly taking advantage of one of the greatest humans on the planet passing away, Dolly Parton. And again, I do not joke about the fact that Dolly Parton is possibly one of the greatest humans that has ever lived in the history of time. And I am not talking about her music. Okay? Just to be clear, her book foundation that kids can join to this day has donated over 330 million books to kids. And that alone just blows me away. Anyway, the CBD scammers, and I believe I've probably reported on this back when this CBD gummy scam posts were really big. They hit Dolly years ago. I'm pretty sure, used her name saying that she was she was this, that, using CBD, and these were they imply by most of the headlines that this famous person endorses their products.
Right.
And then it's just like kind of an article about the person and the links every paragraph link to to buy their gummies. So the latest headline, and I almost fell for it even, was something about everybody was up in arms about an email or something about Ivanka Trump saying Ivana, whatever her name is, saying something about Dolly Parton. So it was like a bait and switch, like they really wanted you to go in and see what was said, but then it was just one of their buy our CBD gummies scams.
Wow.
And so I swear, man, you put me in a room with these people now. Before, I was like, okay, it's maybe it was semi-brilliant marketing, but totally scammy because it's the people that didn't know any better buy their products, and I don't know if people ever receive products or if they have CBD in them. Actually, I don't know, or maybe they are actually CBD gummies, and that's just this bait and switch that they've always played. I don't know how, but they've been fined. Clint Eastwood, I think, had a $6 million lawsuit won against them. Anyway,
Mm.
the fact that they're still doing this and taking advantage of, again, one of the greatest humans on the planet ever, Dolly Parton,
Right.
just I tell you, it just irritates me. That now is irritating. So anyway, I'm on a 24-hour Dolly Parton loop with my music. She was one of those ones, and again, her music goes back far and it's great. And she was a favorite of my mom's, and her movies were awesome. Someone said that she was the female Elvis Presley, and I said, well, she could act a lot better than he could.
Right.
You know, he made 100 crappy movies, and she made 3 like really good ones. And so and I did post the scene from 9 to 5 where they get stoned.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the scene starts. It starts out kind of they're sitting in the bar, and I can't remember the other actresses. She pulls out a joint, and Dolly Parton says, "Is that marijuana?" And she says, "Shh, we don't have enough for everybody." Again, I truly believe, I could believe in my heart that very scene in 9 to 5 possibly made marijuana okay in my mom's eyes. At that time, that point of time when that movie came out, I can't guarantee you that, but seeing Dolly Parton smoke marijuana in a movie may have actually changed, their attitude on it. Anyway, on another note, I want to make sure that the dude of Cincinnati, who is, you can go to Live 365 Radio. The dude of Cincinnati does basically 24-hour radio. Twice a day, he does the smoke session. You can listen to the smoke session between 8 and 10, which puts you there at 8:40, which is 2 420s. And also in the afternoon, I believe it's between 3 and 5, so you can be listening at 420 as well. And again, that's the dude of Cincinnati on Live 365. I believe it's live365.com. Just go there, search for the dude of Cincinnati, get plugged in. And then he does all other programming, a lot of local bands in Cincinnati. And so check him out. And I always put a link to his Facebook page on all the Facebook stuff too. And so, there's, the post on the Facebook Fantations page, whatever. Check him out. Listen to him. The Smoke Session, brought to you by Hemptations.
Right.
All right. Well, 107 days, and now I'm confused because I was convinced that the 29-day extension was in place. Now I believe the 29-day extension is just in the new bill that they're trying to pass. And so they are, at this point, for some reason or another, highly debating this whole CBD ban thing. And, one of and I think it was the Republican from North Carolina, he's coming out with the it's for the kids thing. And once again, I'm like, yeah. So how many kids have suffered over the last year? I should say 9 months, because we still have 3 months either way, for the most part. And I'm gonna attack this more. I want to say more about that particular argument And I'm going to do that at the end of the show. But the fact of the matter is a lot of, and these are including Republicans, are saying we're not going to sign a bill that doesn't extend this. And this is also raising the question, which I do kind of like, because this was my argument last week when I was talking about this 29-day extension. Because there are some politicians out there that are saying, no, we need to get to this. We need to figure it out now. Like, we either add a ban on the ban in this next bill, or we leave it alone. Because what's the purpose? This was my exact point. What's the purpose of putting it down 29, extending it 29 days, which puts us high right in the middle of the holiday season? And these politicians, they know, like, that's, I mean, how can that be? Because it's just stupid. What I do like is that hopefully this will speed up the argument in the halls of the federal government as to removing the ban. Coming up with an option that possibly can set up some separate regulatory whatever through the Department of Agriculture, maybe. I don't, I don't know how I would say this truly needs to be done. I would guess that the easiest way to do it would be to take off the ban and then come up with logical regulatory policies, if they think they need to, and put them in the farm bill that we never seem to get anywhere with anyway. So you put a ban in this next spending bill, and then that ban, that whatever it says, is that we will set up legal framework or policy framework or whatever in the farm bill to deal with these things if we need to. And then even if they go back to the idea that they possibly need to ban these things, I think the ban is in a better place in the farm bill for them, not for any of us, mind you. Only to the benefit of the naysayers who think we should not have these products made from hemp. Okay, does this benefit them? But it might give them more grounds to stand on. I mean, as it is, there's some of these things could stand, some of them can't stand, some of them will be challenged. Some of what's in the ban will be challenged legally. Some of what's in the ban won't be. And so, we'll see how it all, if it does go through, what then is done on the other end. It'll be interesting to see, because I can definitely say challenges to part of it. I can see how part of it won't be challengeable. But the fact of the matter is, if the federal government is going to redefine hemp in any way, it should not be with a ban that was attached to a spending bill to begin with. All right. It has to be directly related to the Department of Agriculture, because that's where the definition of hemp stands right now, under the control of the Department of Agriculture. Somewhat. Well, yeah, because that was done under the Farm Bill. Yeah, again, so. Bye. Here we go again on our own. The federal ban, the federal judge's ban on SB 56 is still holding. It's kind of interesting how it's all playing out, because they're really being hush-hush about it. But, that's where we are in the good old state of Ohio right now. All right, well, let's go ahead and get on with the product spotlight 4 from the store, 1 from my door, sometimes more. This first one, this Hemp Company button-down tee may be on the old eBay. I'm not positive. I know I just sold a different color of this, and if it's not, I will get them on eBay as soon as I can. Either way, I don't think I have a whole lot of extra sizes in this color. Either way, so I think this was a small, possibly a medium, in a men's. So I don't know where that crossover is for ladies. I do want to be clear that all hemp clothing is unisex. Even if it has a ladies tag or a men's tag. I don't know if that's true actually, because well, I believe it's unisex if you're going by sex, because men can wear the women's clothing as much as women can wear the men's clothing.
Right.
That's how pro equality I am. My hemp is 100% pro equality. I'll have it no other way. You can put these, whether you're a male or a female or something else that you associate with, you can put these CBD bath bombs in your bathtub and enjoy. Whoops, I'm sorry. How about I don't know what, I'm going way out of order here. Let's try the Team Death Star grassroots hat.
Nice.
I feel like there's Team Death Star. Unfortunately, is they might be winning right now. I'm a part of the Jedi High Council. I can never get it right when it comes to the grassroots stuff. But again, pro equality.
Right.
Pro equality here. I give the right to the person to be bad as long as it does not affect anyone else. There you have it. Next on the list, how about some cannabis? There we are, CBD bath bombs. I need these now to calm down a little bit. Boy, this first part of this show has really got me irritated. But I go get in a bath with some CBD bath bombs and throw a little dolly on. I'll be right back to where I need to be. Just talking about it has me calming down inside. I can feel these bath bombs working on me mentally just by talking about them. And how about some hand sanitizer, some CBD, Nava Leaf hand sanitizer, and so we're getting into the cold and flu. I don't know if it's even really cold and flu, but the moisture kind of stuff. And clean hands just makes sense, right? They just do. Sanitize them, and I think the CBD helps. And in my opinion, definitely if you have soreness in your hands, there's a double benefit here because it will help with the soreness in your hands. But I also think it will help with the side effects of hand sanitizer, which is normally it will dry out your hands because there are high concentrates of alcohol in there. And so, that's what the alcohol does. And so I think that would kind of counterintuitively help with those side effects, with the hand sanitizer. And these are just little bottles. They're just wee little bottles, something, you can almost throw in your pocket or your purse or your bag or whatever. Either way, if you like to travel and, use hand sanitizer, because you don't really like touching stuff when you're out or other people. It's hard to say. It's up to you.
Right.
And the one from my door is my summer robe. This is my summer robe. And I cannot remember where this summer robe came from. I almost want to just say Ecolution because I saw an Ecolution post and I wanted to post something about them anyway. But I don't think it is Ecolution. Now I'm gonna, I'm trying to. I'm picturing. I'm going deep into the hemp closet to try to picture the tag. Anyway, it's a very lightweight robe, so it's the one that I use in the summer. And there you have it. And there's technically a bonus one in there because if you look to the far right hand corner on my steps is a hemp heart dog toy that somehow Josie never ate, or I should say, Josie never destuffed, because she didn't eat the toys; she destuffed them, and she didn't eat the stuffing either. She just somehow could make a hole, and it wasn't very big, and pull out all the stuffing of any toy she ever had. It was, I mean, honestly, it was like some type of dog superhero power that she had. Honestly, I think she may have been the envy of all dogs. I don't know. I think it's pretty common. I think somehow I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they de-stuff them because again, they don't rip them open. They just make a hole. Anyway, so there you have it, folks. 4 from the store. 1 from my door with a bonus from my door here on the High Noon Hemp Show.
Indeed. Which of course brings us to the beachwear segment. And before we get to what Beach is wearing and all that, normally what we would do in this case is make fun of whatever the Guinness World Records is focused on, because of course they have a stated policy of never acknowledging any kind of hemp or cannabis records whatsoever. But today, we're going to do something a little bit different in honor of Dolly Parton, because as you can imagine, she had quite a few Guinness World Records, 11 altogether when it comes to music, the charts, any of that. So here's a little 90-second video of her last year getting the Guinness World Records Icon Award and getting all her certificates for her various records and such.
Oh, I surely didn't break that many records. What have I done now? That's what I hear. Look at that. Oh, that's great. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, that is amazing. Well, that is something else. I guess when you've lived as long as I have, you ought to be doing something. I heard I was getting something, but I had no idea what it was.
This is an official icon certificate.
Oh, a video. Well, to say I'm humbled by that would be an understatement. I take a lot of pride in it, and I'm very humbled by it. I'm very proud to say that I've been around long enough to have done enough things to maybe deserve these things. I never can believe it when I get all this to make one. I just keep thinking, well, I must have done something right. Praise the Lord. And thanks to the fans.
Longest span of hits, number 1 hits, 35 years, 49 top 10 country hits. She's
just brilliant. And again, another reason why I think she's one of the greatest humans on the planet is because she always says the right thing.
Right.
I'm kind of tearing up about it, just thinking about it, because she's so humble, but she always, what did I do well? She was just a brilliant freaking human being.
Absolutely.
Much love. Man, making me cry again over this Dolly Parton passing away. Man.
That's right. R.I.P. Dolly.
Plenty
in any case, it brings us to our beachwear segment, where I asked Beach a very important question, in which case we would have normally made fun of the Guinness World Records, but in this case, they actually did something quite well. But now I'm going to ask Beach a very important question. He's going to tell us all about his hemp clothing, head to toe when I ask, what are you wearing, Beach?
It's true. If you're curious, what are you wearing, Beach? Here it is. I guess I consider one of these like one of those peacock outfits. Like, hey, look at me. I want to call it hemp cock, but that don't sound right. And pea hemp, that don't sound right. It's a pea hemp outfit, that don't sound right. So I'm just gonna stick with peacocking.
That's right.
But anyway, up there on top is a grassroots beeline hat. That tea is a Young Maven Bunbury tea. And if you don't know Bunbury, we vended at Bunbury for the first probably 3 or 4 years. Bunbury was a bee-themed music festival. And so that's where the bee on the hat, and some of my Bunbury t-shirts are bee-themed as well. This one isn't. I think this is the first year. I think this was the first year that we vended that we made this shirt. They were boring compared to the ones that we made later. Anyway, my shorts are a pair of crop circle shorts. My belt is a Hempy's belt. In the pocket there, of course, as always, my Green Springs Technology pen. I've got a pair of head case boxers on there, and a pair of Satori Canaleaf no-shows, and a good old pair of hemp Adidas. Bringing it all together. If you're curious, what are you wearing, Beach? There you have it. There you have it. You're gonna see me coming. Another one of those gonna see me coming outfits. It's hard. It's hard enough being nondescript, going around in a 6'5" frame, but you throw a bunch of bright green on it, and man, that's when all the insects start coming. They're like, man, look at this healthy tree.
Hey, there's the dude.
The dude of Cincinnati checking in. There he is, folks. Remember, after the show, go check out the dude of Cincinnati on Live 365.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, here is. I don't know if this is the same anniversary. No, I think it's a different commercial than No, it is. This is a Beach Triplets commercial. So enjoy this, and we'll be back with the news.
Has just learned that Hemptations has the largest selection of hemp goods on the planet. Reporting live on location, let's go to Kenny Biss. That's right, Ima. As you can see, Hemptations has great hemp goods, as well as e-juice, vapes, books, and much, much more. All from a store you've trusted for 20 years. Now back to the hemp studio for the forecast. We are expecting highs in the selection region of Hemptations and lows in the prices, with more hemp to come. Back to you, Ima. That's Hemp News, having Hemptations for 20 years.
Boy, if we could get all three of you on the show, that'd be a really big.
I tell you what, man. I don't think the three of us have been in a room since we filmed.
Right.
Those commercials back in the day. So,
one day,
that might be good for us, but it wouldn't be good for anybody else in the room, because one of me is bad enough. 3 different versions of me.
Right.
That would be harrowing. Well, apparently the FDA is now 6 months behind on a deadline to publish a list of known cannabinoids and a guidance on hemp product containers. And again, I don't know what that means. Like, do jeans need to come in a particular container? And of course the FDA is going to do nothing, and Congress can. Again, I'm pretty sure this was something that they were told to do, not asked to do, told to do, and they are not doing it now. The fact of the matter is they're not going to do it until an actual rescheduling or descheduling happens. They're not. You're going to have to rely on Google to tell you all the cannabinoids. But the FDA they are not going to touch cannabis unless it's a pharmaceutical medicine that's gone through trials. They're not going to test cannabis for any of these things. All right. And it's okay in one sense, and it's wrong in the other sense, only because they should at least approve it as a dietary supplement. It's a natural plant. CBD, in my opinion, is no different than vitamin C or CoQ10 or red yeast or any of the other 100 of herbs or plants that you can go to your local grocery store or your local drug store and purchase. There's as much proof that they are at least as safe as any of those out there that they could just go ahead and say that. Why they don't purely is because there is no legitimate medical research that has been done in the United States because it's not legal to do. Now, since we have such a great relationship with the Israelis,
Right.
Maybe the FDA should get a hold of the Israeli equivalent to the Food Drug Administration and ask them some questions about the actual medical side effects that would be negative. Because that's the only reason why they shouldn't approve CBD, CBG, CBN, at least those three, as dietary supplements. And of course, and I am definitely going to talk about this more because, if the ban goes through, there's no more full spectrum. No more full spectrum, which is unequivocally the most therapeutic version of a CBD product that you can take. Full spectrum, without a doubt. What this will create is a huge market for broad spectrum, which is leaving all those other things in, but taking out the THC. They're going to have to do that. They could still leave that limited amount per container, but it's almost a moot point at that point. But that's where we're going. And again, the FDA has no interest in putting their stamp on anything. And what I find interesting as well is that the Maha movement, Kennedy Jr. isn't up the FDA's butt about it.
Yeah.
I mean, if he really is about making America healthy again, then, maybe we go back to farming techniques 100 years ago. Because that's when food was, at least clean, greatly clean, without herbicides or pesticides for the most part. But anyway, their lack of interest in our health when it comes to cannabis over at the Maha movement is disconcerting. And in one sense, I get it because he's a known drug addict. And so it'd be very difficult to come out and start talking positively about the health benefits of cannabis and not have people like, oh, you're just a drug addict. And, now we can throw our moral assholeness at cannabis because of your history. I don't know. I don't get it. Because I would think that hemp would be on the top of the list. We know we want to make America hemp again. I've got hats that say that myself. And so that should be a part of the Maha movement that we had before them, by the way, because the Maha movement started in the first administration with Make America Hemp Again. Both of my Maha hats are, at least 6-8 years old at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I have to go back and actually look to see when I got my first Maha hat. All right. Montana is delaying their flower ban. Good job, Montana. Like, come on, man. It's Montana. Don't their citizens deserve to be able to smoke pot? Whether it's hemp or any other type.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, there you have it. Here's a pic of some old Nepalese hemp. Now, Nepalese hemp is like, again, I've always said that if you put me in a room of, say, 10 different backpacks made out of hemp, I will always be able to tell what is Nepalese hemp. The Nepalese have their own defined hemp fabric industry. All right, so they are a country that over the last, probably 20, 30 years, I have seen Nepalese hemp coming around for at least 25 years. And you see these products, that label, I have sold that labeled products in the store, that brand of Nepalese hemp. And they have created themselves a decent market here in the United States. I think it's brilliant. I think it's amazing. There will always be a division of hemp material referred to as Nepalese hemp. And so I think it's quite brilliant, honestly, and so good for them. It's a huge industry over there for the farmers, the weavers. Most of this stuff is still handmade. They're not running a whole lot of machines, probably. They may be running machines to sew them. They may not. I would guess they may be to putting them together. Originally, if anything was going to go wrong with them, it was, say, zippers and things like that. And I feel like they have evolved into a company that wants to provide a better product to their customers. And I think that their zippers are better. I think their stitching is better. They've gone the right directions with everything that they're doing. And when, if you see hemp backpacks or hemp bags in a store these days, there's a very good chance that it'll be Nepalese hemp. So, good old Nepal. New studies showed that cannabis inhalation significantly reduced extra or early heartbeats. This is known as cardiac ectopy. Now, excuse me, this study is was these people had to wear 24-hour monitors. It was a very intense study, and so it's going to be interesting to see. And there's never really been any medical debate as to cannabis being harmful to the heart. I mean, even when I had my heart situation 5 years ago, I was straight up honest with the doctors and, told them of my regular use of cannabis. And no heart doctor that I talked to even made an issue of it. And the only heart doctor that did make an issue of it, it was kids shouldn't have it issue. Not that it was unhealthy for the heart. It's just the kids shouldn't have it. And so, I never, ever had anybody, none of my heart doctors ever even batted an eye at it, to be honest with you. And now we're finding out that it may actually have benefits. Like, it may have helped my heart issue from not being worse. Okay, because apparently the less cardiac ectopy you have, the less chance you have of cardiac fibrillation, and therefore it all kind of helps. So it's going to be interesting once again to see what the results and how they where these results go and where more studies go to see if cannabis inhalation, and again, this was smoking, is actually heart healthy. Can you imagine your little label on your little jar of cannabis at the dispensary? Heart healthy. Man, I can't believe they don't say gluten free now.
Right.
But I really want to see that that heart healthy. And so anyway, yeah. So there you have it. There you have it. Research also has shown that the roots of cannabis are linked to a diverse spectrum of secondary metabolites. We're talking about phytosterols, alkaloids, terpenes, phenylytic compounds. And again, there's always been products. There have been, I shouldn't say always been, there have been products out there that use the root, body products more like in lotion and things like that. And so, the fact that there is therapeutic value in the root is zero surprise to me. Once again, I think the next step for hemp farming to the whole plant farmer is to get a machine that pulls the whole plant out of the ground. And, I don't think it would be difficult, honestly, even though that root is deeply bedded in. I feel like it's a machine that just grabs the bottom of the stalk and drags it slowly forward so that the root just kind of comes out. I don't know. I think that would be the large amount of processing would take a special piece of machinery. Now, we don't need any special machinery to harvest for the fiber. It's done mostly now with a laser scythe. So there's a scythe that's laser or thermal, could be even thermal, and basically it just goes and cuts the plants off right at the ground, and that's definitely, I believe, more used for the fiber industry part of it. And then, of course, the combine, with very little tweaking, can do it all. Take the branches and then the heads. A lot of times what they do, if you're growing, say, for the seed, then you would take your combine across the top of the plants to collect your seed, I would think, and then come back along with the combine again to collect your stalks, to either remove them from the field, if nothing less, or to go ahead and have those processed into materials, fiber uh, and the hurd, the shiv, which is used in the hempcrete. So, um, we've always said that it's a tri-body-product plant, all right? Because you can grow for the seed, you can grow for the fiber, you can grow for the hurd. There's 3 products right there. Now you pull it up by the root, and you've added 4 separate industries. 4 separate industries. 1 plant. And truth be told, we're not there yet, but we will need to get there soon enough, I would think. The whole leaf industry, which, we're finding that once again, there are things in the leaf that are 100% beneficial to humans. So, we start a salad industry or a microgreens industry on the, if adding protein powder made from hemp seed is a good idea. What about going ahead and throwing in some hemp leaf in there for your super greens additive? So now you're talking about five different industries. Although, no, I guess we'll just take the leaf with the food industry. So we'll just keep that in with the seed industry. So 4. We can add the leaf into the food industry part of it. And of course, the seed industry is broken up into different industries too, if you want to. I mean, again, I've said this so many times, and there's so many ways to go. So many different industries. 1 plant. 1 plant, multiple industries. Anyway, this is kind of fun. Oh, no, wait. Best protein boosting dressing ingredient. So if you make your own dressings, this is the best ingredient to add is hemp seeds. And I quote, blended into a lemon garlic vinaigrette or an avocado-based dressing, hemp seeds contribute 10 grams of complete protein per 3 tablespoons. There's that 3 tablespoons again, folks. But yes, I mean, again, the nutritional value, in the same sense, as I have said on the show before, you could just take that same hemp and just sprinkle it on top of your salad or whatever you're using your dressing for and cut out the middleman. Or if you make your own, you just add it in there. And then again, it's in one more thing. And you're getting the benefits of it. And you do not, again, hemp hearts have a slightly nutty taste. They really don't have much of a taste. And so it does not, it would take a lot to change the flavor of a food with hemp seed. Honestly, it really would. Hemp nut butter, peanut butter equivalent, does that you can really taste it there. But anyway, okay. So this is kind of interesting. So there's a hemp shirt pop up, and he's going around the UK. It's called Babble and Hemp, or his shirts. All right, they sell for 84 euros, and I think that's like a decent. I don't know where the euro is with us, but it's usually pretty close. All right, and he went out in this little town And in 3 hours, and he videotapes his pop-ups, and he educates people on hemp, in his videos and whatnot. But the last one, he made 2,500 euros in like a 3 hour time period, selling these hemp and cotton shirts on the streets. And I love the fact that he can do so well, but it is also funny that he's now getting in trouble because he's talking about how much money he's making, and all these little cities are like, well, you didn't file for a license to vend on the streets. So, I don't know if he should have kept his sales quiet, or if just because, again, it was hemp and it drew the ire of the government of these little towns. But that's the trouble he's getting in, is not filing for a vendor's license, so that they can get the tax money on the hemp shirts. But looking at these shirts, I will once again say I do not believe that I would be able to have been able to tell by looking at them. They look like really nice dress shirts. I think that they've got a really thin weave. And so, Babylon Hemp is the name. And again, I get it. He goes in these pops-ups and then he babbles. So I think, it's good. He's good. He's good. I'm going to, if you're in the UK, find out where Babylon Hemp is popping up and go be a part of his pop-up. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you can follow him. You don't know, where he broadcasts live his pop-ups, but I'm gonna have to go check Facebook and just see if he's on. I don't know. The Piggly Wiggly in Fairhope, Alaska, got the green light to sell hemp drinks. So, again, it's Alaska. I think Alaskans should have the argument that nothing should be not available to them. I mean, honestly, they live in Alaska.
Right.
You should have all the hemp they need. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know how prevalent cocaine is in Alaska, but I would think that, all the darkness. Again, how do you get through like 3 months of darkness? I am not encouraging the use of cocaine. I'm just saying it would probably help in Alaska get through the winter. No, anyway. Oh, shoot. But, I really just wanted to get that out there because I like saying Piggly Wiggly. Nice. We had Piggly Wigglies in Richmond until they were bought out by IGA, if I remember correctly. But yeah, the original grocery store that we had to go to in uptown on the bypass was a Piggly Wiggly, and then it turned into an IGA. Patagonia has their hoodie on sale. Go to Patagonia's website. It's a good time. We're getting into a little chillier. We're not quite there quite yet, but I did have to wear a hoodie in the Jeep this morning. Mm-hmm. I've got the top off. There's no top at all, no doors, no nothing, and so it does. It does get a little cooler, even though it's pretty warm, relatively speaking. So, and I believe Patagonia had some other stuff on sale. So go to Patagonia.com, check it out. I didn't see mention that this was American-grown hemp, but I would be very disappointed if this does not contain some American-grown hemp at this point. They've been they added American-grown hemp fiber to their hemp material goods at least 6 years ago. I've got a pair of shorts and a hat. I want to guess it was probably shortly after the Farm Bill in 2018, and the stigma was gone. And so now they're bringing the stigma back. Good job, America. All right, we've got a little bit of events. The hemp maze is open out in Montana. No, not Montana. Minnesota. Sorry, I had Montana on the brain from earlier. Minnesota is where the hemp maze is. There's also the Canada Disc Golf course at the hemp maze in Minnesota. And there is also, you can do a nighttime candlelight. It's an LED candle, but you can do a nighttime hemp maze. And I believe they also have a fright on the farm. And I don't know if the fright on the farm, I mean, it has to go by the hemp field at the very least. I don't know that it goes through the hemp field. I think that the nighttime hemp maze experience would probably be frightful enough for people. You know, I would just fear that people would just do the old, I gotta get out of here, and just start running straight through all of it, you know, which wouldn't feel good because taking a hemp stalk to the face is not gonna feel good.
Yeah.
I can tell you that right now. September 16th through the 18th, we have the Global Industrial Hemp Fiber Summit going on in New York. So if you want to know what's going on in the global industrial hemp fiber world industry, you may want to go to the Global Industrial Hemp Fiber Summit in New York, September 16th through the 18th, not too far away. September 26th, I'm just putting this out there because Jet Lag is awesome and everyone should go see him. If you are into electronic music, Jet Lag is doing a 4-hour show here on his own here in Cincinnati. I should have more information because I can't read the fine print, but I'll tell you more on that as we're going along. So there's that. October 13th through the 15th, you have the Hemp and Lava building experience in Rocky Point, Mexico. So if you're interested not only in just hemp building, but hemp and lava building experience, then check that out. Again, it's at Rocky Point, Mexico. Like I said, I do have some thoughts. I want to get the thoughts out about this whole hemp ban for the kids ideology. Okay. Hey, politicians, you sound like a freaking moron when you say this hemp ban is good for the kids. Because let me tell you what this is going to do for the kids. This is going to take full spectrum CBD out of the hands of kids that use it for seizure related ailments. You're going to take full spectrum CBD, the most effective CBD, out of the hands of the parents who give it to their autistic children whose lives were changed by introducing this to them. Here's what you're going to do, politicians, by taking this away from the kids. You're going to create a stigma of all CBD products again. Full spectrum, broad spectrum, CBD isolate. That parents shouldn't give these to their kids. And that is the most ridiculous ideology that you can behold onto the kids. These products are not unsafe for the kids. And even if you want to go ahead and talk about the THCA and the THC and all that, you're not helping the kids by banning that either. Making an adult decision, and then adults can tell whether they want to give it to their kids, because guess what? medical marijuana is accepted in over 3/4 of our country. And it's a parent's right in Ohio to give their kid anything that they want. Now, all the moral people and all the people that don't have any idea about it saying, oh my God, it's so going to get, the kids are going to be, parents are going to be giving their kids THC and they're going to be sending them to the hospitals like crazy. No, they are not. Okay? Because 99% of the responsible parents out there are only going to give their children these things after they've done the research to find out whether it's acceptable. Guess what you're doing with this? You're making it harder to get the research to decide whether these things are good for their kids or not. Stop saying that prohibition on cannabis is good for kids. It's the most ridiculously stupid statement that you can make, and you're supposed to be leading us in this country. And all you're doing through your moral beliefs is uneducating people. You're de-evolving people. You're harming people, humans, citizens of this country that are benefited from these products. You still haven't provided any death certificates that say these products kill. You still haven't shown that any proof to these kids going to the hospital overdosing on these products were long-term harmed in any way, or even short-term harmed in any way. All you see in the headlines is emergency room numbers are going up with these products. But you're not seeing the end result. They don't say the child was released from the hospital 24 hours later because all in all, it was just fine. All you see is a headline. Overdose, overdose, overdose. And that's not a lie. If you go to the hospital because you've consumed something, too much of something, and it's affected you in a negative way in any way, they can say you overdosed. And they use the word overdose in the headlines because that implies you died. No adult that went to the hospital with a cannabis overdose has ever died. No child that's ever went to the hospital with a cannabis overdose has ever died. And the fact that they continue to say these things without any medical proof of harmfulness is ignorance. Flat out stupidity. It's stupid. These politicians are stupid. They're not ignorant because they believe. They haven't gone and got the facts. If they went and got the facts, I would call them ignorant. No, they don't go and get the facts, so they're just flat out stupid. And I do not like the word stupid. My son thought stupid was a bad word. And I don't like people calling people stupid. But the fact of the matter is, these people are stupid. These politicians are flat out stupid. And it is, in fact, harmful to the kids to say that any of these bans is good for the kids or for the kids, period. Get off your moral horse and get some knowledge. Whew. All right. Remember, everybody, check out the smoke session the Dude radio station, live365.com, twice a day, 2 hours of smoking tunes, and 24-hour programming is the most eclectic you will find. The music played on the 24 hours of the Dude radio. A lot of stuff you'll know, some of the stuff you'll know, some of the stuff you won't, but it's a mix. It's a great mix. It's everything. That's the way music should be. Live365.com, search the Dude Radio, Cincinnati. Turn it up, chill it down. Don't forget Stoner Jesus. Go find him wherever he is out there on the intraweb. There he is. There he is right now. Go find him on all those other places. Here he is on the intraweb right now. And remember, folks, reduce, reuse, recycle. Make everything else out of hemp. Having Hemptations.
See you all next week.